Happy New Year, friends. It's Heather at Bush Poppy Farm. Today, we are going to be talking dahlias for 2025. Welcome, everyone. Happy New Year. It is 2025. We've been away in Colorado for a week that was supposed to be a week of snowboarding and just, chilling out with the family, but all of us got sick. So we spent a solid week in an Airbnb sick, and we're all still sick. So bear with me on getting back into the garden. I've got a lot of projects to do, but I'm still feeling pretty wiped out. So I figured today would be a good day to sit down and talk to you guys about the dahlias we're going to be growing in 2025. Now, this is a new batch of dahlias because the ones that I planted last year, which I had hoped to overwinter, because I'm in zone 9B, and you can totally do that here. They all got eaten by gophers and other rodents. And so we've reconstructed that bed. I will actually pin that link below, so if you want to see that video, you can. Basically excavated out the bed, put in 1/4 inch hardware cloth on the bottom, made a big giant cage, refilled it with soil, and right now it's got a cover crop of buckwheat on it. But after that cover crop dies, we'll mow it down, and that will be green manure for the soil, to feed the soil. And then when the time is right, usually around May, end of May, we will plant our dahlias in that bed, and they will stay there. And eventually, in a couple of years, I'll have to dig up some of them and divide them so that they keep producing. But until then, we should have a really good dahlia harvest. I also have a bed of dahlias that was lined. I started those from seed from Floret, and those did great this year. Nothing got to them, so they will come back next year for us. And they are resting under a layer of straw at this point. Okay, so I got my dahlia tubers at Swan Island, and I have separated them out for you so that you can see what they are. I actually cut them out during some downtime while I was sick. So the first one we're going to start with, these are the A size. They're A size. They're 8 to 10 inch blooms. This one is called La Luna. Really, really pretty, nice and full. Now the dahlias that I have that are that I started from seed from Floret, they're all collarette and open disc dahlias, which are wonderful for pollinators. And so that's one of the reasons I wanted them. I will occasionally harvest from those, but they produce a lot. And because they were from seed, it was a kind of nice surprise as to what we were going to get. Those will keep coming back. But these other dahlias here that I'm purchasing, a lot of the really thick, bunchy, classic dahlia looks. And so I have some nice collarettes and open-faced dahlias for the pollinators, and then we have these for cuts. Okay, the next is the B size. These are 6 to 8 inch blooms, and I've got 2 of them here. This first one is one that you're probably familiar with. It's Cafe au Lait. This one has been hard to get a hold of, and so I was really happy to get one. It will produce, actually what I'm going to do first, once these come in the mail, is I'm going to pre-sprout all of them, and I'll take cuttings. And so that way I will have already a number of additional plants, and then over the years I can divide them, and that will just multiply my stock. So this initial outlay of cost will make up for itself in the first season with those cuttings. Okay, the next one is Hot Tamale. Not a big fan of lots of reds, but this one looked really, really cool. So we're gonna try it. Okay, now we move into the BB size. These are 4 to 6 inch blooms. This one I've been growing for years. This is Bride to Be. It's a really, really nice white dahlia. And even as it ages, it doesn't turn brown, except for right behind the bloom. So it's a really good one, and it's great for wedding work. The second one is also all right, and this is Brookside Snowball. I enjoyed this one as well. They're both slightly different. You want to look at them here. One looks a little bit more pom-pom-like, and this one is a little more open. Okay, and then another favorite. This is Cornell Bronze. This is a favorite in the floral industry. Also a favorite for wedding work, believe it or not. And it's a pretty prolific dahlia. Then we have one that I've grown for a number of years. It's just cute. It's called Fluffles. It's pink with that white center, and it's like a cotton candy pink. So it's really pretty. It's an interesting mix in bouquets. Then another one that I've grown for a long time, this is Ivanetti. I was hoping that this one had survived because it was still producing blooms when I took those plants down. And I don't know how it was still living because there was literally no tubers at all. It was a stalk in the ground and it was still producing flowers. Okay, and then this one, Oh Honey. I love the apricot peach orangey colors, and so I always have a bunch of those. All right, these are the miniature dahlias. These come into up to 4-inch blooms. This one's called Beehive, and if you know me and I have beehives myself, I had to get this one. Okay, and then we also have, this one I grew 2 years ago. It's adorable. It's called Cherish. Just those colors together are so pretty. And I really like these kind of, this is not particularly the pon-pon varieties, but they look very similar. Okay, and then we have Fatima, or Fatima, depending on how you want to pronounce it. And Nettie. I've also grown this version in the white, called White Nettie. Really lovely flowers. They hold up really, really well. They're very sturdy and strong because of that shape, so I really enjoy those. Okay, now we're getting into the pom-pom varieties. And I only have a few of these, but these are excellent for bouquets. They're just perfect to slot in because they're not huge, and they really add a nice texture and pop of color. This one's Betty Ann. And then this one I've grown before as well, Frank Holmes. It's kind of hard, the camera doesn't pick it up as well. This is really a very lilac color. It looks more hot pink in the camera, but it's a really cool one. And then we have Tiny Treasure. This one's kind of a lemon ice color. Like, it's really cool. It's not pure white. And then I have just one kind of out there one that I thought was really cool. I got this as a tuber many years ago and it did not end up sprouting for me. And I don't think it was the producer's fault. I think it was my fault. I did something wrong. But so I'm gonna try it again. This one is Tahoma Moonshot. So really, really cool looking flower. And I think that will be really interesting for bouquets. Short video, but that is it for the dahlias for 2025. Like I said, I'm hoping that I can pre-sprout all of these. We'll do a video on that, and I can get multiple cuttings off of each tuber so that we will have multiple plants in the ground. And then probably in about 3 years, as long as everything goes well, I will dig those up and divide them. But for the most part, these are going to be treated as a perennial crop. They have their own bed. They will stay in there. They'll get protected. They are protected by the hardware cloth from all the critters. And dahlias are allelopathic, meaning they secrete a chemical that inhibits the growth of weeds. And so it's really nice. You can occasionally get some weeds in dahlia beds, but for the most part, they stay pretty clear. It's the same thing with sunflowers. They are also allelopathic. And so it's really nice to grow those plants and not have to worry about those beds because they hardly get any weeds in them at all during the growing season. Currently, the dahlias that I have out there that are bedded down for the winter, there are some grasses growing on those beds because the dahlias are inactive right now. So I will continue to pull those, but it's not nearly as prolific as it is on other beds with plants that are not allelopathic. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today, you guys. We'll be going back to hopefully daily, if not every other day videos this coming week. I'm just trying to get up and running and make it through the day. Until I feel 100%, it's gonna be hard to get out there and get a lot of work done, but we'll get there. Thanks again for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden. I hope you're having a happy new year, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.